What up, Wizards? It's Deb, SBMTG. We like it at Magic. And today, the cute, fuzzy, squishy little day is finally here where we get to talk about Bloomburrow on the channel. For real this time. I've really only dropped mention of this set a couple of times in previous videos up to now. That's kind of wild considering how much I want this set to come out right now. I anticipate this set more than I have any set since at least like Dominaria United. And if you know me at all, you know that's actually quite the bold statement. I really like that set, but not only does Bloomburrow bring rotation, which I'm happy about, but it also brings rodents, lots of cuddly little forest boys to fall in love with. And even though for once I'm catless, again, if you know anything about me, you know that's kind of something I'm into too. So I cannot freaking wait for Bloomburrow to come out, and I want to spend the next like 6 weeks talking about it. Problem is, I guess I will get my wish, though. It's not really a problem because spoiler season's in like 2 weeks at this point. So if we're going to talk about Bloomburrow before the set comes out, then we got to go ahead and get to it. So with that in mind, let's start speculating now. Everyone's favorite video. It's the top 5 things I want in Bloomburrow.
And I'm your favorite Magic Channel's favorite Magic Channel. Best believe that the professor go bananas for my deck techs. I come correct like a porn star, slicing up all these other suckers with my sword mark.
And we're back. Bloomburrow's right. Is that how you say the name of the thing? Bloomburrow. I don't know. We'll get it figured out. But anyway, we got 5 things to talk about today. And it's actually more than that. Again, are you new around here? So let's go ahead and get started. So we have so many things to discuss, and we're going to dance and play all night and have fun. So number 5 is pretty straightforward here, and it's actually kind of one that I think I'm going to keep coming back to over and over in this video, so I think it's maybe the most important overarching point, and I'm not sure you're going to agree with me on this. You know what I want the most in Bloomburrow? Cracked Magic cards. Now, to be really clear about exactly what I want here, I want this set to have a very high power level, and not just in individual cards. I want the overall set to be relatively high in power level. And again, I don't know how many of you actually agree with me on that, but I think this set has to be pretty impactful to actually contend with the power level of the cards left in standard, even after rotation. I mean, I'm fully aware that we lose 4 sets here, and again, the Esper deck is torn apart and all that, but we still have the Atraxa decks. I'm sure there's an Atraxa deck because it's still, the card's still in standard. You know, Sunfall is still a card in standard. Sheldred the Apocalypse is still a card in standard. Deep Cavern Bat, the Subterranean Schooner, Gix, that whole deck with the counter spells and the Go for the Throat. In other words, I just really hope that we're not playing against all the same decks, minus Esper and maybe 1 or 2 others, that we're playing against right now, like 2 months from now. In Bloomburrow, if it doesn't have quite a high enough power level, or if it's too focused on like silly typal strategies, more on that a little bit later in the video, then I'm just not sure that it's going to have the impact that it needs, even post-rotation. Sorry, between takes I got an eyelash stuck in my eye, and my eye's like really red now. At least it feels that way. Is it? You guys tell me. I don't know. Either way, I'm not crying, bro. One way or the other, though. I guess my total overview for number 5, if I haven't made myself totally crystal on this one so far, is that I want a pretty banger set out of this one in terms of overall power level. Now, it doesn't have to be extremely powerful. I just, again, wanted to be powerful enough to compete with what's in standard. And I'm sorry if I have my doubts that the Creature Type Matters Stardew Valley set with mice is going to meet that bar, but here's hoping. Like, honestly, all the stuff I just said sounds like a dig, right? The Creature Type Matters Stardew Valley set with mice, and honestly, these are all the things that I'm like most excited for about the set. Again, I'm really, really excited for this freaking set to come out, but like the one thing I think it might be missing at the end of the day is good Magic cards. So, again, here's hoping that doesn't happen. But moving on to number 4, let's actually kind of scope in on what cards we want to see in this set. I think the most important thing that we can get out of this whole kit and caboodle, which is probably a pun right here, is a good dual land, or a land that produces multiple colors. And I sometimes talk about how I want this in these videos, and we usually get them, you know? So maybe, again, the good luck will continue here. All I have to do is speak it into existence. I will say that just any good new dual land, although it's probably getting harder and harder to design new dual lands that actually are competitively viable, but still, a good new duel would be like more than welcome, because we're losing tri-lands, we're losing slow lands, the ones that want you to have at least 2 other lands in play before they come into play on tap, you know those. We still keep like pain lands, we keep fast lands, we keep surveil lands and deserts and like all kinds of, there is stuff in standard, but I think a good untapped duel would be fan freaking tastic in the new environment, especially if so much of the set is going to be focused on, you know, guilds, basically 2-color combinations, and it's starting to look that way. So, you know, if we don't get a brand new duel, somebody in my comments section not long ago mentioned Pathways getting a reprint, which I think would be just wonderful, wonderful selection, not only just for how good they are in terms of like the use cases, right? But just for like how flavorful they might be in a set like Bloomburrow, especially now that the Omen paths have opened up. If you're following the story, you're not, I don't blame you. Either way, I think Pathways would be a good call. And I guess if I had to make a wild prediction, which everyone is probably what they're looking for here, what I'd actually kind of like to see brought into existence, even though this might ultimately be a mistake, is 4-color tap duels. You know, we got these 3-color duels that cycle. Right? We just got those. They're about to rotate in standard and all that. So what if we just got duels that come into play tapped and tap for 4 colors, and that's all they do? What if that was the whole card? Would that be good? Probably. I think it'd be good enough to play, right? So maybe something like that would be pretty cool. But all I really want is a way to cast my stuff reliably. Can I have that, Wizards? Can you promise me that? No, you can't? Well, rats and mice. Number 3, I guess I'm just going to call it reprints, and excuse the bit here, but what if we got Rabid Wombat in this set? What if we get Rabid Wombat? It'd be awesome. What if we got Joven's Ferrets from Homeland? It'd be sweet. Anyway, my actual pick here is not reprints. It's kind of the opposite. Weirdly, I would like to see a set with not that many reprints. Not really, you know, I already know that we're getting some kind of special guest thing or a bonus sheet or something like that that's going to have like famous Magic characters reimagined as planeswalkers or reimagined as like aminals, basically. So that seems like it might be kind of fun. Since we're getting that, maybe don't put a whole bunch of reprints into the main set. I know that this is kind of a weird ask. Like, it's kind of weird to be taking up a whole spot on my list here, but I'm actually kind of sick of sets that feel like they have to put like 5 reprints in the set for no good reason. It's like, oh, we're reprinting some cards, people like reprints. Like, I do like reprints, but I feel like even in the standard product lately, we've been getting a fair number of reprints, and you just did like Modern Horizons 3, which is a whole reprint set. Can we just get a set that kind of stands on its own 2 legs, doesn't have to reprint like half a dozen cards to make the finance crowd go or whatever, like whatever face they make? I'm not actually sure. And I'm sure that like most of the reason they reprint things is like Commander and trying to keep prices down. And these are always good. I always advocate for reprints, but for some reason or another, and I do think it's mostly feelings, I'm sorry. I honestly feel like for the first time in a while, I would just like a set that's almost entirely its own set and doesn't feel the need to just like kind of shoehorn in. I was going to use a nastier word there, to shoehorn in, you know, reprints for no apparent reason. But I'm pretty sure Wizards can't help themselves and we'll get reprints of random stuff. But this time there's woodland critters in the art or whatever. Like that, honestly, that kind of sounds dope, to be honest. Like the more I think about it. So I guess you can reprint cards if you want to. But my real point here is that you shouldn't feel like you should have to for a set like this. That said, Rabid Wombat, though, like for real, I mean, it wouldn't do anything in standard. It's kind of a bad Magic card, just like Rabid Wombat. But anytime anybody tries to tell you that Magic is like too silly nowadays, just remember that Rabid Wombat came out in Legends in 1994, so they don't know what they're talking about. But anyway, number 2, I guess. We're doing number 2. I kind of briefly brought this up a second ago. They're going to do returning characters. We know there's going to be a whole list of, again, I don't know if they're special guests or a bonus sheet or whatever's going on with that, but we know they're going to reimagine, they're going to reprint a bunch of cards as critters. And that could be really fun, but I actually want to see some people return to the Magic storyline in the main set. If we don't get them in the bonus sheet or whatever, that's fine with me. I actually want some people that we haven't seen in too long on Bloomburrow. Now, if you're not familiar, in case you don't know this, if you go to Bloomburrow, if you planeswalk over to Bloomburrow, maybe even if you use Omen Pass over to Bloomburrow, let's say you're a human being with human being features. Apparently, if you planeswalk your silly self over to Bloomburrow, you become an animal. You become a cute little anthropomorphic, it's an Animorph set. was talking to I can't take credit for that. I was talking to Power Dragon the other day, and he called this an Animorph set, and I was like, oh my god, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. So if you want to laugh at that, give credit to Power Dragon. Go watch his videos. But either way, I guess what I'm going to do with this entry is just talk about the characters that I would love to see show up in Bloomburrow. Again, they can be on the bonus sheet, but honestly, I kind of think I want them in the story somehow or another. So let's talk about those real quick, starting with Garrick. Where's Garrick? How come Garrick wasn't in the cowboy set with a little cowboy hat on? It'd been hilarious. He wasn't at Murders at Karlov Manor, which would have been funny if it turns out Garrick did it. Just turns out it was this giant beast, man. Sometimes it's the one you most expect. But we haven't seen Garrick in what feels like, I don't know, years? Like, literally, the dude has just been, like, MIA for a very long time. And I feel like every set that comes out, I'm like, is this the one? And I just think like Bloomburrow would kind of be the perfect set for Garrick because it's a woodlandy, foresty set. He's kind of right at home there. But also, what if he was a little bear cub, man? Come on, man. You know that's not a bad idea. But all my other choices are like even sillier, right? Like I guess the least silly of my remaining choices is Kiora, which seems like a weird one, but I just kind of want to know what happens to Kiora if she goes to Bloomburrow. Is she a cute little octopus lady? What's with Kiora? I'd also would like to see more stuff that works with Kiora. Like we got a Kiora in March Machine Aftermath that like does something nutso butso, like something I can't even remember what it is, but it's something like completely off the wall with like octopus, krakens, leviathans, and stuff like that. So I'd like to see more of those in the set, but cute, right? Cute krakens and cute leviathans. I don't know. Maybe it's not for everybody, but it's definitely for me. So whatever. But I'd also weirdly like this. This is where they all get stupid. I'd like to see Karn in this set. What happens to Karn? I just had to pause for a second to let you like consider it. If Karn goes to Bloomburrow, what happens to Karn? You tell me in the comments section because honestly, you haven't figured out a good one for this. But I would like to see like a little. Maybe he's just like a little baby, like a toy or something. I don't know. I'd just like to see Karn here. He's all serious all the time, and you just can't be serious on Bloomburrow. And I apologize. Karn finally cracks a smile. Who wouldn't want to see that? Nicol Bolas. Nicol Bolas. I'm pretty sure everyone I've named so far is a walker. I think Kiora may have lost her spark, and I don't know if we know what happened to Garrick, but no, Karn lost his spark too. Karn like gave up his spark. So I don't even know if I've talked about a single actual planeswalker, so who cares? Nicol Bolas would be great though. I don't even know what he's doing right now. I know he lost his spark in War of the Spark. But after that, I don't know, like, did he die? I think he's alive. So, like, it'd be pretty funny if he found his way to Bloomburrow and started causing trouble. He wasn't in the Outlaws at Thunder Junction set. That's the set with all the villains. So if we didn't get Nicol there, you know, Bolas will show up as, like, a little raccoon guy or something. You know, come on, man. I think some people would think that was a bridge too far, but I would think it was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. So, you know, different strokes for different folks, I guess. And then finally, Ugin, who I believe is supposed to be trapped in the something right now. He's trapped in some sort of weird forever plane or I forget what he probably can't be here. But remember that this is fantasy. I get so sick of people saying like, oh, you can't do that. That character's dead. You can't do that. That character's trapped in a moon. You can't, that's Emrakul. That'd be a good one too. What would happen to Emrakul on Bloomburrow? Either way, one way or the other. People always say you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do, you understand what the point of a fantasy story is, right? You can do whatever you want. So yeah, Ugin could totally be here. And again, I'm just kind of curious what happens to Ugin when he comes to Bloomburrow. But I think this segment of the video is done. I apologize to anybody who thought this was ridiculous. But then again, I have to remind you, you know what channel you're on, right? Pretty ludicrous stuff happens here pretty much all the time. Nobody bats an eye. So, you know, don't take yourself too seriously, I guess, should be the life lesson of this video. And Bloomburrow at large, anybody that's saying, like, I don't like animals and cute creatures, and Bloomburrow's stupid. It's like, lighten up. You know what I mean? Lighten up and tighten up. Number one, what's funny is I was going to do another gag here where number one was going to be like a bunch of cozy game references. Like, I want a Stardew Valley reference on a Magic card. And the thing is, two things about that. First of all, they'll probably do it. I think the word cozy has already been used in advertising the set like multiple times from Wizards of the Coast mouthpiece. So with that in mind, I definitely think they could target this towards cozy gamers, and I'd be pretty happy with that. Just so you know this about me, I don't know how many of you know this about me. Probably not that many. I've probably played like 400 hours of Stardew Valley, and if you name a cozy quote unquote game, I've probably played it. The My Time series, Story of Seasons series, Forager, is that cozy? I'm not sure. Cozy Grove, that's cozy. Cult of the Lamb, is that cozy? I'm not sure. Spiritfarer, that's a cozy game. I've played like probably 2 or 3 dozen cozy games in my life. If you can chop wood in a game, I've probably played that game. So I would actually be really down for multiple references to like cozy games and stuff in the cozy game set. But I think my actual number 1 is going to kind of go back all the way back to my number 5. We're going to circle around here like a good video essayist would do. It's not what I am, but I am no Sam. But still, I think we're going to bring it full circle here and kind of talk about typal strategies a little bit because, you know, we know a little bit about this set. I want to do a whole video like everything we know about Bloomburrow. The patrons didn't vote for that. They voted for this video. But I will say that I'm pretty sure one of the things we're heavily speculated on at this point is that creature types are going to matter greatly in this set. And I think that if they matter too much, it's a bit of a mistake. Could be a mistake, right? I definitely think they want this set to add a good bit to Commander and maybe even, you know, formats like Pauper or something like that. So again, I worry about how impactful they want this set to be for Standard. Maybe they think Rotation will handle that. Who knows? I think they want the cards in the set to be cute and for you to open them and be like, oh, and like maybe buy a card because you think that card is cute specifically. Maybe they want the draft environment to be sweet, which would kind of makes sense given what I'm about to say, the information I'm about to provide. We know that there appear to be 10 guilds in this set, just like Ravnica. It's all the 2-color guilds. And it appears as though one kind of animal will correspond to each guild. Like we know Boros is going to be mice. We're pretty sure Simic is going to be frogs. We're pretty sure Blue-White is going to be birds, because why wouldn't it be, right? We're pretty sure Red-Blue is going to be otters because of some of the preview cards we've already seen officially spoiled from Wizards of the Coast. So it's pretty easy to guess some of these, and even some of the ones we don't know for sure, like Black-White could be bats. Blue-Black could be rats. Green-Black could be raccoons or squirrels, because we know they're going to be in the set. So it's pretty easy to speculate on all of these, but that would be 10 creature types that you have to make matter in this set. And honestly, it's going to be kind of tough to do while still making sure that there are very playable cards in the set. So ultimately, I guess what I'm saying here is that I don't want creature type to matter as much as it looks like it's going to matter. Now, I will say that we've got Roaming Throne already in Standard. We're going to go back to Lorwyn relatively soon. Like while this set's in Standard, we'll be going back to Lorwyn. That matters because Lorwyn is already, like, it is too a creature type matters set. And it's got changelings in it, which can be any type, right? So they tend to matter with creature type matters stuff. But I don't want to have to wait until we get changelings that theoretically have the squirrel creature type for squirrels to matter in Standard. That'll take like a whole year. I want, again, this set to have impact right out of the gate. And I worry a little bit too much that if they put too much stock into the creature types mattering, that won't happen. So again, just to underline it one more time here, I don't think that they should make creature types be this huge thing. But again, I guess the concession to that is if you do, I want the card to be very, very powerful. I want every single thing that you print with creature type matters to be on the same power level as like Regal Bunnycorn, which isn't a creature type matters card, but it is a bunny, right? It's a rabbit, and there's going to be rabbits in this set. They'll probably be the green-white creature type if I had to guess, but still, Regal Bunnycorn, a very powerful magic card that really hasn't had its due in Standard yet, but an obviously powerful magic card. I want everything to be around that level. Again, if you have a thing that says all otters get +1/+1 or all squirrels get +1/+1, the rest of that card text better be really, really good. Or maybe the mana value's low. Imagine like a 1 green mana, 1/1 squirrel that gives all other squirrels +1/+1. That'd be a good card in Commander. How good is that even in Standard? I'm not sure. Either way, you have to juice the power level of creature type matters to really be playable in a format full of Atraxas and Sunfall. If we're in a Sunfall Standard where the most played card is Sunfall, creature type matters. That's a good way to go with a set right after rotation. Sometimes I'm just not sure I get it. But either way, that's all 5 of my things. I have thoughts on things. And that's all of them. Now, just head empty at this point. So I guess take over for me. Let me know how you felt about all this in the comments section. And what you want the most out of Bloomburrow. And I seriously, this could have been a worse video. I seriously thought about putting cute animals on the list, and it's like, well, we're definitely getting those. So just, if you have anything unique that you'd like to see in Bloomburrow, just let me know down there in the comments section. Now is the time to talk about it. Aside from that, do all the YouTube stuff on your way out. I know it's time to get packed up, everybody. I'm sorry. I said we were going to dance and play all night, and what was it, like 20 minutes? All apologies, but still. Yeah, just on your way out, make sure you exit carefully, quietly down the aisle in a single file line, put your popcorn in the trash bin, and hit your like button on the way out too. Before you go into the blazing sunlight with your tiny dilated pupils from the last 2 hours of this movie, make sure that you not only throw away any spent cups, but you also sub to the sandwich. Do that, and make sure you check out the Patreon too if you want to support the content around here. That would mean a lot to me, it really would. But now it's time to say goodbye to all our company. MICKEY, Love you guys, and I'll catch you cats next time. I'm Deb from The Place. Thanks for watching, Wizards. Spread love, and be kind.